wind howled across the lonely ranch like a ghost that would not leave. Caleb Boone stood on his broken porch, staring at the empty road. He had lost everything once. Now he waited for a woman he had never seen, a mail-order bride who might fill the hole in his heart, or tear it open again. Caleb was a man with nothing left. Years ago, a bloody attack took his first wife, Mary. She died in his arms while the house burned. After that, his life felt empty, like a dry well with no water. Days passed in silence. Nights were full of pain. To fight the emptiness, he wrote a letter and sent it east. He asked for a wife, any woman who needed a home. He did not care who she was. He just needed someone to make the ranch feel alive again. Eliza stepped off the train at the small station. Dust covered her simple dress. Her eyes showed fear, but it was not new fear. It was old and deep, like a wound that never healed. She looked around as if someone might jump out from the shadows. Caleb waited there with his hat in his hands. They spoke only a few words. "You are Eliza?" he asked. She nodded. That was all. They rode back to the ranch in silence. The next day, a simple man married them with no flowers, no smiles, no love. It was not a wedding of the heart. It was only a deal for two broken people who needed each other to survive. Life on the ranch began quietly. Caleb showed Eliza the small house, the barn, and the wide fields. She worked hard from morning to night. She cooked simple meals, cleaned the rooms, and helped with the animals. But Caleb soon saw she was not like other women from the East. She was strong and quiet. Her hands moved with speed and care. One cold morning, a rabbit ran across the yard. Eliza picked up the old rifle, aimed once, and fired. The rabbit fell with one shot. Caleb stared at her. "Where did you learn that?" he asked softly. She looked away and said nothing. But in her eyes he saw pain, the kind that comes from a dark past. Days turned into weeks. They did not talk much, but small things started to build a bridge between them. Caleb came home tired one evening. A hot cup of coffee waited on the table. Eliza had made it without being asked. Another night, when the wind grew cold, she placed an extra blanket on his bed. These little acts felt warm. Caleb's hard heart began to open, like a flower after rain. For the first time in years, he smiled a real smile. Eliza felt something too. The ranch was not just a place to hide anymore. It felt like a home, the first real home she had known. At night, she sometimes watched Caleb sleep and wondered if she could stay here forever. But secrets do not stay hidden long. One quiet afternoon, Eliza walked behind the house to the small graveyard. There, under a simple wooden cross, she read the name, Mary Boone. The words carved below said the attack had taken her. Eliza's knees went weak. She fell to the ground. Tears came fast and hot. The truth hit her like a bullet. She had been part of that attack. She had planned it with the Blackwood gang when she was young and lost. She had helped them burn houses and take lives. Mary's death was because of her. The man whose heart she was slowly winning, she was the one who had broken it first. Guilt filled her chest like heavy stones. She wanted to tell Caleb everything, but the words would not come. She was too scared he would send her away, or worse. Then the past came back like a storm. One dark evening, a man on a horse rode up to the ranch. It was Vance, the leader of the Blackwood gang. His face was hard and cold. "I found you, Eliza," he said with a mean smile. "You left us. Now you open the door tonight and let us in. We take what we want from this ranch, or we kill your new husband. Your choice." Eliza's hands shook. She had no good way out. If she said no, Caleb would die. If she said yes, the life she had started to love would end. That night, Eliza made the hardest choice of her life. She would become the bad person to save Caleb. She poured oil on the dry grass near the barn and lit a match. Flames jumped high. Smoke filled the air. She wrote a short note and left it on the table. "I tricked you, Caleb. I never cared. I am leaving now." Then she took a horse and rode into the night. She did not run to save herself. She had a plan. She would lead the gang into a dangerous valley where rocks and steep hills would trap them. She would be the bait. If she died, at least Caleb would live. Caleb woke to fire and shouting. He ran out and saw the note. Pain cut through him like a knife. The woman he had started to love had betrayed him. He felt empty again, even worse than before. But later, when he searched the ashes, he found the full letter she had hidden under the table. In it, she wrote the whole truth. Her past, her guilt, her love for him, and her plan to trap the gang. Caleb's hands shook as he read. She had not run away to hurt him. She had run to save him. Tears came to his eyes. He jumped on his horse and rode fast to find her. In the narrow valley, the fight was already happening. Eliza stood with blood on her arm. She had fought the gang alone. Guns fired. Horses screamed. Vance laughed and pointed his weapon at her. "You thought you could trick us?" he shouted. Eliza was hurt and tired, but she kept fighting. When Caleb rode in, she saw him and threw her gun to his feet. "Shoot me, Caleb," she said, her voice breaking. "I deserve it. I took your first wife. I took your peace. End this now." Caleb picked up the gun. He pointed it at her head. His finger touched the trigger, but he could not pull it. If he killed her, he would become the same monster he hated, the kind of man who answered pain with more pain. Tears ran down his face. "I can't," he whispered. "I won't." At that moment, Vance attacked from the side. Caleb and Eliza turned together. They fought as one. Bullets flew. Dust rose. In the end, Caleb's shot found Vance. The gang leader fell and did not get up. The valley grew quiet. The sun rose the next morning over the quiet land. Caleb and Eliza stood near the burned ranch. No big smiles, no promises of perfect love. Caleb looked at her for a long time. His voice was low and tired. "I do not forgive you, Eliza. What you did cannot be wiped away like dust, but I will not let you leave. If you stay, it means you have stopped running. It means you choose to face the pain with me." Eliza looked at the ground. Her heart felt heavy with guilt, but also warm with something new. Hope. She nodded slowly. "I will stay." They did not live happily ever after like in old stories. The pain stayed with them. Some nights Caleb still woke with memories of Mary. Some days Eliza still felt the weight of her past. But they walked side by side. They shared coffee in the morning and blankets at night. Love did not erase their sins. It did not say everything is fine, but it gave them the strength to stop running and to keep going together, one hard day at a time. Thank you for riding along on this story. Drop your location and time one more time if you'd like, and if it touched you, send some stars, follow, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next tale.